Dice Rally 2, Electric Boogaloo. Hello guys and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we're taking a look at 4 different decks for Dice Rally. These are just 4 of the decks that I happen to play and that I like, that you can play. Honestly, all of them are... There's a ton of decks that are currently playable, like more or less at full power. The only 2 decks, 3 decks to be fair, that like really received notable hits, at least in terms of the metagame, are Malice, Ryzeal, and Mitsurugi. There's a few other things as well, like Voiceless Voice kind of got neutered, and Labyrinth is dead, and Flunder got put behind the shed. But a lot of decks are playable, and a lot of decks are very fun. So I'm going to show you 4 different decks that I played in order to just play Dice Rally. Also, if you don't know, Dice Rally is basically you roll a bunch of well, you duel with special conditions based on the spaces that you land on. After each duel, you roll some dice, and you move a certain amount of spaces. Whatever space you land on gives you a different thing. You get a card, you can move, you can have life points, you get to start with extra cards. That's pretty much it, right? You like generate additional cards. It's pretty cool, it's pretty fun. It's one of the best events that we've had, and it's very interesting. So, let's hop into the deck profiles. And we're going to start off here with Spright. Spright is one of my favorite decks of all time, and it did receive some notable hits, surprisingly. But, notably, it's still very playable. We have 1 blue, we have 1 starter, and we have 1 elf. But other than that, it is fully playable. All of the frog stuff, all of the nimble stuff, all of the other Spright stuff is totally there, and it's very solid in well, first of all, it has the ability to play a bunch of non-engine, which is very notable, because hand traps are king. Mostly due to the fact that Orchest exists, and is very powerful. But besides Orchest, there's a bunch of other things that are just strong in general, and being able to hand trap them is very nice. Now, this is just hand traps. I didn't, like, specifically design any of these hand traps for anything in particular. I just threw together hand traps. So, you can play whatever you want in the hand trap slots, but for the most part, we're playing the Swap Frog engine, we're playing the standard Nimble engine, along with the additional Angler. We're playing Melfies as well, because we only have the 1 blue, so we're also playing some Melfies as additional 2s and additional things that we get to do, and then of course we're playing the Sprites. I'm even playing Pixies, because, yeah, just having an additional Sprite is pretty nice. We're also playing 2 red, and then we're playing 1 apiece of Gamma Burst, Smashers, and the starter, which we only can play 1 of. And then for the extra deck, it's pretty simple. Just a bunch of 2s and Link 2s and Rank 2s, and that's pretty much it. We are playing some Synchros as well, which I think makes this deck very cool, because you get to use Synchro, Xyz, and Link for your deck, which is, it's very funny. But, yeah, let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performed. Alrighty here, where we are going first. Just kidding, I lied to you, we're going second. But Dear Lanta, this hand is bad. But apparently my opponent's hand is also bad, so... Hopefully we can actually do... Well, that's worse. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're just going to set a bunch of cards and pass the turn. I don't know. We're just kind of hoping and praying at this point that my opponent still doesn't have anything. Wow, okay, well... surely I draw something... That's actually pretty good. Yeah, we're going to start off with the normal summon of the Nimble Beaver. That's going to be met by, obviously, a hand trap. What else are they going to be out on, right? It's not like they're just going to have a bunch of dead cards that literally don't do anything. So, yeah, of course. So Nimble Beaver doesn't resolve. That's fine. It's mostly just to get a thing out of the way. So we're going to go to Gigantic. The reason we go Gigantic here is because, again, I'm like 1000% certain my opponent has something here. So if I were to go like Sprind, for example, while Sprind is nice, it also doesn't have the ability to like consistently be used. So it's only on summon. So I was like, it's better for me to go Gigantic, because I can just use it over and over and over again, and kind of force my opponent to interact with it every turn, which I think is just way more value. So, that's basically what I did there. Anyway, my opponent once again passes on nothing. That's crazy, by the way. Just wild. But that's okay, because I draw another Nimble Beaver. We're going to start off with the Gigantic. They are going to be, or it's going to be met by the Imperm. Obviously, it's Imperm. Why would it not be? But that's okay, because we can normal summon the Beaver now. And I'm just actually going to go to combat here, because they are on exactly enough. Not exactly, but very close to exactly because of the Gamma Burst. So I literally just get to walk into them for free, and that's the game. Yeah, very silly, but alas. Funny game. And the second deck is my personal favorite deck of all time, Tri-brigade Lyrilusc, ABC. Also known as, I should say, the Bird Up. That's what it's called. Yeah, it's called Bird Up. Very fun, very cool deck. I just really thoroughly enjoy the way that this deck interacts in general. It's not very strong, but it is pretty fun. It's pretty standard across the board. I'm even playing the Revolt. This is pretty much untouched in terms of ban lists. We don't care about not having fusions. We don't care about any of the actual bans. Maybe you would sometimes play Apo, but other than that, like, this is pretty much card for card what we would play. So, cool. Anyway, let's just hop into the replay and show you how this deck performs. Alrighty, here we are going second, and one of the things that makes this deck so powerful is its ability to use things like triple tack so effectively, as well as droplet. So you can actually use a lot of board breakers effectively in your deck, so that's pretty much it. Anyway, my opponent's going to reveal that they're on Punk, hip hip hooray, so hopefully this Imperm can get us there. They're going to go for the Zeon in, I'm going to activate the effect, and then I realize, oh, this doesn't matter, they're still going to Pot of Greed here, because... of course. And then they go into carry. And I'm like, oh, they're also playing the gold prides. Okay, this is really bad. This triple attack really needs to get me there. We basically only have, like, normal summon Nerval and pray. And just, like, pray. So they grab up to start your engines. They're going to go for the Silhouette Rat. And they're going to activate that effect in order to grab the Azure Rune, which is also very bad. And, of course, they drew the Rising Scale, so the Imperm didn't matter. It was basically a wasted card. Also, this free card is not going to matter. But, hey... if we drew Droplet, it would. However, we draw Sapphire Swallow. So I'm like, okay, if this Nerval sticks, I get massive advantage. It does. They elect not to use the trap or anything else on the Nerval. They're like, Nerval's fine. Pop off game. And I'm like, fantastic. So we get a special summon here. We're going to go for the Cobalt Sparrow. They're going to go for the Azure Rune. And I'm like, okay, there's not really anything I can do about that, but sure, why not? But we are going to search out here with the Cobalt Sparrow. We're going to search out the Barrel Canary. And keep in mind, we are in half life points, and my opponent is playing Punk. So they are on 1,300 life points. So, yeah, that is not a lot of life points. That's all I have to beat through, right? So, there's that. Obviously, they're going to Azure Rune the Link monster here. But we're going to go Nerval, we're going to go Ferrigite here as well. And, yeah, we're just going to draw a card. I draw Imperm. I decide to put back Apex Avian. This is just stupid. I don't know why I do this. I should absolutely put back this card. It literally doesn't do anything. Because now I don't have a target for Karos. This is just a straight-up mistake on my part. I'm going to take here. They just allow that to happen. I'm going to take the Sharakusai so that they can't Synchro Summon and bounce. But that's fine, because we're going to special summon out another guy. And alas, my opponent decides to go for the Start Your Engines, which, to be fair, is the correct play. They do have to do this here. However, what they should have done is they should have popped the Sapphire Swallow, and that would have allowed them to survive. That sounds crazy, but... I'll explain in a second. They pop the Barrel Canary, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. They're going to go and special summon out here and activate the effects, grab up another trap. And I'm like, okay, sure, that's fine. Doesn't matter. I am locked into Xyz, notably. So I'm going to go Assembled Nightingale. Now, Assembled Nightingale, specifically, can't be targeted because of Cobalt Sparrow, and has the ability that it can target a Lyrilusc in the grave to attach it to this card as material. Now, Assembled Nightingale can attack directly a number of times based on the number of materials it has. If they had popped instead the Sapphire Swallow, I would not have been able to attach the Sapphire Swallow because it would be in the grave. So I would have 2 materials, and while Barrel Canary does boost by 200, the 200 boost doesn't matter because they would be at 100 life points. Now, they wouldn't really be able to do anything with any of their Punk monsters, but at the very least, they'd be at 100 life points, which is enough to kill me. So, that would have been bad, but they would have survived, right? Whereas now, they do die because of the Sapphire Swallow being able to attach here. So, alas. My opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes. I get 3 attacks at 600, that's 1800. It's just enough for lethal. Good game. Also, right after that, I could also make Zeus, so that's also an issue. But alas, good game. The third deck I have for you is Unchained. Unchained dies to Max C. It dies so unbelievably, incredibly hard to Max C. It also doesn't do well into the Molcharmies. It's not terrible into the Molcharmies, but it's pretty bad into the Molcharmies. Regardless of the Molcharmy. All of them are bad. That being said, it's playable now because, one, Molcharmies are kind of terrible when the opponent just has a random card on their field. You can't really activate any of the Molcharmies. And two, and more importantly, no Maxi. Hip hip hooray. So, we're playing Unchained. I'm playing the Fiendsmith engine in here in order to just facilitate additional Fiend bodies specifically, because Yama just requires 2 Fiends. So, we're playing the Tour Guide as a normal summon to get us access to our 2 Fiend bodies. And then we're also playing, of course, the Fiendsmith cards, and we're also playing Sanct in particular, so that we have the ability to just more effectively go into Requiem and what have you. Also, this sequence should absolutely be Moon. I don't know why it's sequence. I forgot to change it, but it should be Moon. Because you never go sequence. Sequence is just, like, terrible. 99.9% of the time, you're actually just going to use the 2 bodies to go into Yama or into some other Unchained thing. Yeah, Unchained is very strong, and it's more of a Border Breaker style deck, so we're also playing the Border Breaker stuff. We're playing Ultimate Slayer, I'm playing Nibiru, I'm playing Triple Tack, and that's pretty much it. So, let's hop into the replay and show you how this deck performs. Alrighty, here we are going first, and let's see what we can accomplish. This is actually a pretty weak hand. It dies to, like, any hand trap, but I don't know, maybe my opponent will have a hand trap. Let's find out. We're going to start off here with the Tour Guide, and we're going to go for the Fiendish Warrior Rhino. They didn't have anything. Fantastic. We're going to go Yama. We're going to go Fiendish Warrior Rhino. We're going to dump to the graveyard our Shiyama, and we're going to grab Sharvara. Here we're going to special summon the Aruha, and then pop the Aruha with the Sarama, and then we're going to special summon as well as special summon. And notably, we can special summon the Luri that is just stuck in our hand, but that's okay because that is a light fiend. And again, this is where having the Moon would have been better. I was originally playing Sequence. That's just stupid. Anyway, out comes Requiem. We're going to go for the Lacrima here. We're going to send Engraver. Engraver is going to put back the Luri, and we're going to special summon the Engraver. Here we can go for the High Wave King Caesar. Yes, this is obviously susceptible to Nibiru. However, the reason we're doing it this way is because we want to have at least one Sharvara go to the graveyard right now so that we can set a trap here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to special summon out the Shiyama. We're going to set a trap. We're going to specifically set the Chamber, which allows us to Reborn. So, pretty solid. And then we're also going to go into Soul of Rage and just pass the turn. This is deceptively powerful. We have a bunch of interactions that are available to us. First of all, we have the 2 Wave King Caesar interactions. We also have Rage, which can yoink an opponent's card, use it as link material, and then go into Unicorn. We're specifically going Unicorn here as opposed to SP. Normally you would go SP, but alas, we don't have that. So we're going Unicorn. Unicorn just spins another card. So that's 2 additional cards, and we have Chamber as well as additional protection. So there's that. That's pretty much it. And then our board is just very difficult to do out, and we can do the combo again on the following turn. My opponent's playing Atlantean, so there's that. But I'm going to go for the Wave King Caesar here, and we are just going to detach and negate the special summon here. Granted, they had the Dragoons in hand, so of course, that's fine. We're going to go for the Sharvara as well here, just to set an additional card, and my opponent is off to the races here. They're going to grab Neptibus. They're going to then activate the Fuga Loss, which there's nothing I can do about that. Yeah, sure, bud. They're going to go Neptibus. They're going to send to the graveyard the Heavy Infantry, which is going to pop the Wave King Caesar. To be fair, that is reasonable. Out comes the Poseidra. They're going to go Neptibus, Poseidra. They're going to attempt to bounce my Chamber. I'm just going to bring back the Aruha so that I have additional protection. My opponent's going to go for the Abyss Pike as well, sending Dragon Ruler Title to search out a card, which is kind of funny. And they grab Minstrel here. I don't know why they grab Minstrel. I guess they just thought that I had like a hand trap or something in my hand. So I don't know. This seems like really bad in hindsight. Like I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't know why we go Minstrel here. This seems like really bad. But I don't think there's like another option. I think they've gone through everything. So I guess it makes sense, right? I was just like, man, okay. Anyway, out comes Coral Anemone, and I'm like, that one is a problem. I'm not going to allow that card to exist, so I'm going to shuffle it back. We're going to use the Poseidra, we're going to pitch a card, we're going to shuffle away the Coral Anemone, and out comes Second Slide. Sure, they drew the Second Slide off of Fua. Crazy. But that's fine. They're going to shuffle back the card here, and then they go for Title. I'm like, okay, sure. That's kind of scary if they have another 7, you know, which they have like a million ways into a 7. Could be an issue. They didn't have anything. Yeah. just like cleaning up the board there really heavily hinders them. They've used their normal summon. They've used most of their like natural special summons, and they only have the one Poseidra in the according to the ban list in this event, so didn't really have to worry about another Poseidra. Yeah. That being said, they still could have had stuff. It's just like I do think clearing the field there was the best option. Anyway, during the end phase, we're going to go and summon out the Requiem once again with the Lacrima, and at this point, the game is pretty much in our court. I don't think there's a world in which we lose this. They do pitch Dragoons, and Dragoons is going to grab up another Neptibus. If they had something off of that, we could have died, but at this point, the game is pretty much ours. We're going to pop the title here. We're going to also use the Yama here to grab up Sarwama. They need some sort of hand trap at this point, but it's highly unlikely that they have anything. They do have Fualos. That's fine. We're going to go for the Aruha here. We're going to pop the Aruha. We're going to activate the effect. We're going to summon out the Abominable Unchained Soul. If they have Nibiru here, they do kill us. But alas, this is lethal, so I'm just going to go to combat and clean them out. Yeah, it's very easy to lose the game. So, we're going to just clean them out, and good game. And last, but certainly not least, Vanquish Soul. Vanquish Soul is fantastic because guess what? Half of the time, your opponent is going to have half the life points. Either due to your own square that you landed on, which says start with half life points, or your opponent's. And sometimes, both of you will have that effect, in which case, guess what? It stacks, which means you start with 2,000 life points. That's hilarious. Guess what deck takes the most advantage of that? That's right, it's Vanquish Soul. Because guess what? Heavy Borger, god damn, his name is hard to say, inflicts 1,500 damage to your opponent. As a quick effect. Yeah, this resolves 3 times and the opponent's dead. Which is not hard to do. On top of that, Snow Devil is a card that exists that also does 1,000 damage if you just have 2 attributes in your hand. That happens to add up very nicely. So, yeah, Vanquish Soul is very fun to take advantage of that in particular, and it's just a very solid deck. Literally, nothing is missing from this deck. That's crazy. That normally doesn't happen for these events. But yeah, literally nothing is missing. So, that's pretty strong. I guess it's actually better for this deck because we don't have to deal with Maxi, which is very frustrating, but we also don't have the ability to play Maxi ourselves. So instead we're playing Pink, because it's Pankratops, and it's an Earth. That's pretty much it. I needed additional Earths, so we're playing this. We also needed additional Fires, so we're playing Impulse. We're also playing Ash, of course. We're also playing the Fire Attacker for the Impulse as well. We're playing Ghost Bell as well as DD Crow as our Earth and Darks, respectively. I'm also deciding to play the 1 Lava Golem because it's funny. And then just maxing out on the standard Vanquish Soul cards. The 3 Raisin, the 3 Heavy Burger, the 3 Mad Love, the 3 Xiaolong, and 2 Caesar Valius and a Pantera. We're also playing 3 Stake Your Soul, as well as the 1 apiece of Dust Devil and Continue, and then 2 Snow Devil as well. As for the extra deck, we are playing Pot of Extrav, so a lot of this stuff doesn't matter. The only thing that really matters is Triple Rock the Vanquisher, because this is the only card that I've actually summoned from the extra deck, because it's the only one that matters. As for the rest of these, it's just other such cards to help consistency, Triple Tech, Rhoda, etc. That's it. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performs. Alrighty, here we are going second, and that is a hand. And my opponent has half life points. I have this guy. He's here. Anyway, let's see what my opponent is going to attempt to do. They are playing Orcust, and honestly, a lot of Orcust players have been doing maybe some of the worst combos I think I've ever seen in my entire life. So, close your eyes. Just don't think. Just don't look at what Orcust players are doing. They are. Yeah. They're playing Einsat and stuff like that. So, you know they're killing it. Anyway, at least this one made Dingirsu. I must say, at least this player did make Dingirsu. And I went, damn. That's the first time I've seen this today, which is crazy to think about, because this is absolutely 1,000% always part of your end board. And they were like, no, I'm going to not do the smart thing and make Dingirsu. But alas, don't worry, that Dingirsu, that's the last time we'll see him. Why? I don't fucking know. Man, I wish I knew. I wish I knew why my opponents were like, you know what? That card that's very, very good and extremely useful, I'm never going to use it. They do make Crescendo, though, so there's that. They set 2 and pass. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Let's see what I draw for turn. That is exactly what we need, an additional starter. So we're going to start with the State Your Soul, revealing the Raisin. We're going to grab up the Xiaolong. From here, we're just going to go into Rock the Vanquisher. They also sent a guy here, and for some reason, I wish I could tell you why they do this. They send Harp Horror. What does Harp Horror do? It's actually not terrible, to be fair. They could go for, what's his bucket? This guy, Girsu. So I'm like, okay, sure. That's fine, right? They summon Girsu, they send another guy, that's fine. Seems a bit strange to me, but sure, whatever. But they're going to take and Imperm, or Rock the Vanquisher, which is fine, because now I get to go for the Triple Attack. Triple Attack take, gets out the negate, and now we can go normal summon Raisin. I normal summon the Raisin, they go for the Galatea, special summon itself, and I'm like, okay, sure. Huh? Why is this guy here? I don't know. Okay, cool. They're going to activate the effect. They're going to pitch another Harp Horror. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. They're just trying to get the Harp Horror into the graveyard. They're going to activate the Harp Horror. Sure. I am going to summon out the Heavy Burger here because I do have the Caesar Valius. And then I see Droll, and I go, what is happening? What are we are just clicking buttons. We are searching a card actively right now at this moment. Why did we even activate this? You have Harp Horror already in your grave. You don't need to pitch the other Harp Horror. It would have been better in your hand. It's fine. And then I see the criminal mistake that they make, and that is to summon Orcus Nightmare. And they're dead. They die. They are dead here, right now, at this very moment. They have nothing. I don't know why we decided to make Nightmare here. I don't know what Nightmare does for us, but they're like, sure. Okay. I guess you're dead now, because you didn't think about how many life points you had. But alas, it's fine. It's fine. Out comes Border. They're going to not search a card. I'm going to reveal an Earth and a Fire. I'm going to inflict 1500. And then I'm going to go to combat and walk over my monster to kill them. Great game. 10 out of 10. Imagine they send Symbol Skeleton and, like, send Dingirsu. Or summon Dingirsu there. And then I actually had to, like, deal with Dingirsu. I'd probably lose that game. But alas, they were like, no. I'm gonna make SnowiKs specifically have a stroke. Help. Alright, we're back, and honestly, this event is very fun. If you actually saw, we never really played against the same deck. That's not entirely true. Orcus was there multiple times, but the point is, a lot of the decks that we played against were varied. We didn't really see a bunch of the same decks, and we didn't play the same decks as well, which is very cool. I think this is a great format. I think it's very, very fun. I think Orcus is a little unfun, but other than that, I think for the most part, there's a bunch of really fun things that you get to do. I think the gimmicks that are in these cards are very cool, except for Vanities. For some reason, Vanities Ruler exists in these cards that you can obtain. I don't know why, but it does. So you could just start the duel with a Vanities Ruler on your field, which is very silly. But other than that, I think there's a bunch of really cool things. And yeah, I still really enjoy this event. I had a good time. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I think a lot of people have been really really negative on Master Duel. Rightfully so. I myself included. Because honestly, the format has been terrible, and the game overall has been declining in terms of quality. That being said, Dice Rally is great. I really do enjoy Dice Rally. I think it's a great format. I think it's very, very fun, and I'm always excited when this one comes around, and I had a good time. So, there you go. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did indeed enjoy it. If you did, like us very much, I appreciate it, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.